Well, good afternoon, good evening, and glad everybody's here. I think it's time to start a study session. I'm going to call us to order. And Summer, if you'll call the roll.
Commissioner Patterson?
Here.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Baker?
Here.
Commissioner Roberts? Here. Commissioner Stallings?
Here.
Commissioner Dennis?
Here.
And Mayor Mason.
Here.
All present.
Item number 2, at the Commissioner's request, discuss any item of concern on the regular session agenda. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about what we're going to talk about later?
Nope.
No? We can just all go home then, can't we? Yeah. All right. Item 3.1, discussion of fraud issues.
Are you going to move up? Replace it?
Oh, timeout. I do want to change here. Hold on. Which one am I moving here? 3.4? Okay. All right. I'm going to change the order, guys, just a little bit. So I'm going to start with 3.4, update on the Enid Light Up the Plains, and the One Tree event. And I think this is Natalie Nicole.
I don't have a presentation. I apologize. I've been out at the ice rink working every day. So thank you all so much for having me come speak today. We are very excited. This will be our 32nd year of Enid Lights Up the Plains. So we're happy to continue that tradition again. We will have normal activities next Friday, always the day after Thanksgiving, from 5 to 8. We have the food truck. We have tons of food trucks. We've got Santa, the Parade of Lights, which is always a hit. The OG&E Tree of Lights with the light show by Ryan Sudlow. He's been a wonderful volunteer who spends hours and hours and hours programming the light show on the courthouse lawn. He's wonderful and does that all for free. So we're excited to have a few new songs for that. And then, of course, we have live music by local musicians, and then the Park Avenue Thrift firework finale. And we've been working with the City of Enid, the police department, everybody. They've been wonderful to work with as far as the roadblocks go and everything like that. So it takes a lot of hands to pull this off. We've had a lot of hands helping us, and we're very thankful for that. Last year, we had about 13,000 people in attendance, and we expect the same this year and hopefully more. So we are thankful for everybody in the community that supports that. Other than Enid Lights Up the Plains, we have Holidays on Ice opening. That opens this Sunday, the 23rd. We have pushed opening to Sunday because we're very excited to host Tyson this year for their employee appreciation party. So we should have about 1,200 people there. They're going to be skating. They're going to be using the Bat Express. Brett Clemmy, he has his barrel train and military vehicle out there. We also have some bounce houses that we've brought out. We're going to have a DJ, so it's going to be really fun. So that will be this Saturday. They get to be the first on the ice. That being said, please pray for cold, because if it's too warm, we're going to have to push some of this, but we're getting that all ready to go. Other than that, we have, of course, the Santa House will be out there with hours that he will be taking pictures with kids. We've also, we have a movie night on December 18th, and we're going to be showing Elf this year, so that should be fun. And then the silent disco we did last year, which was really fun, and we're bringing that back. So that's whenever everybody gets to rent headsets, and they'll be on ice, and they can tune their music to a couple different stations and dance around on the ice without anybody else having to hear what they're listening to, but it's a lot of fun. Other than that, we are also adding a new sensory-friendly hour every Wednesdays from 4 to 5 p.m. So that hour, we will only allow about 15 people on the ice, including their helper if they need an adult or somebody who would like to help them on the ice, and they'll be able to reserve that online. So that way we can make sure that we only have about 15 people, because every year we have some kids and some adults who would like to be a part of the ice rink, but when you get too many people on the ice, it hinders them from that. So we're hoping this will allow everyone to have the chance of, trying out the ice skating rink. Other than that, we are also seeking volunteers to help hand out skates as always. That really is, we've been asking organizations and individuals to take a couple of days to hand out skates. It's super easy and it helps us a lot as far as the cost goes on labor. So if you know anybody who would like to do that, it's literally just handing the skates and taking them back. So I think that's all I have. If you have any questions?
Do you still need volunteers for Lights Up the Plains?
Always. Yeah, so
How does somebody get a hold of you? to do
yeah,
that?
so you can call me directly, Natalie. You can go on mainstreetenid.org. There's a volunteer tab that will get you in touch with anybody. The big thing is the parade. So since it's at night, it's very dark. So we want to make sure that we have enough hands watching for kids who who want to run out. We do have very strict rules for the parade attendees. They cannot throw candy. They have to physically hand them to them, and they have to have lots of lights on their cars so you can see. But that is one of the biggest needs for volunteering, is having people on that route, making sure that kids don't run into the streets.
Natalie, have you talked to any of the civic organizations about coming and
Yes, we
taking on some of that at the skating rink?
absolutely. We, my new employee Nathan, he has gone around to probably about 150 businesses and organizations and handed out flyers and talked to them personally. We have quite a few signed up already, but we could use a few more just because we're open for about 42 days. So, and I know it gets a little hard whenever we're around the holidays. People have a lot going on. So if anybody has a giving heart and wants to hand out skates, we would greatly appreciate that.
Okay. Might be something we figure out as a commission to go down
That'd be
there
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
and do. So,
You can wear I don't know if you have Enid shirts, but you can wear that out and do the handshaking and talk to people. That would be awesome.
I'm trying to build a sports facility. We can't buy shirts.
Gotcha. Understood.
So,
Thank you for all your work. I know you and
Yes.
Mr. Enid put in a huge effort this time of year, and it really benefits our community, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
And by the way, mention the new location. I love where you guys have moved your offices
Oh, yes.
to.
So as we're also doing all the holiday activities, we're also moving locations. So if you could stop by, I apologize for the mess, but we have moved locations. We are right on the square on Independence, 106 North Independence. It's the old Enid Travel Agency and right next to Enid Axe. So we're moving in there. We have a lot more storage and meeting spaces. So if you want to come see us, you're welcome to stop in. We're really liking being right there on the square so people can come in and talk to us, businesses, and anybody interested in being downtown.
okay. Anything else? Natalie, thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Nicole?
Good evening. I'm Nicole Winfield. I am the project coordinator for the One, and this is our 5th year. We're so excited. We made it to year 5 and only had one broken tree, so this is great. Our opening night is scheduled for Saturday, November 29th. With it being on a Sunday, we figured more families would be able to make it during their time here in Enid for the Thanksgiving weekend, so we moved it to Saturday. We have food trucks that are coming at 4 o'clock. Our pre-show is at 5:30, and our ceremony begins at 6, so our tree lighting will be about 6:30. We have a great, with that opening night, we do a big grand music show with the tree and everything. So we're putting that together, and that's looking amazing. And we as well are hoping for great weather, maybe not so cold, sorry, Natalie. If we could just have some good weather and no wind, have a beautiful night, that would be great. So we also have 3 other events. I don't know if they're, sorry, you can go back to that. That is our opening night, kind of our plan. So in the past, we've had the stage in the middle of Independence, but again, like last year, we're gonna have the stage against the tree. So anywhere from there, you can sit and enjoy. The red area is where the barricades will be. So we'll have, the way we move the food trucks, we have a little bit more parking, actually quite a bit more parking in that lot by Stride. And we just ask that people respect the businesses and homes in the area as they find parking. It's really not that long, that far to park, even if you go park downtown in front of the wonderful businesses and shop a little bit before. So that's kind of our map where everything's going to be laid out for the evening for opening night. And then one of our first events we have is on December 6th from 11 to 1. It's the car cruise. We have classic cars, trucks. We also asked the public to come out and vote for the best car and truck. That was really fun last year. So it's free to do the Christmas cruise. It starts at Blazes and it goes down Van Buren, down Garriott, down Grand, and then around the square. And then you essentially end up in front of the archways in the tree, in front of the tree where we take your picture, and the pictures have come out absolutely amazing. We had 50 attendees last year, and we had about 20 people signed up for the best car and best truck, and that was great. People had so much fun with that. We had kids voting, and they'd run up and come to the table and vote. So we'll have a food truck and some music going, live music. So we invite you to not only enter your vehicle into that contest, but also come and vote. If you don't have a vehicle, that's okay. It's a lot of fun. So, and that is during the day, 11 to 1 on December 6th. And then the next weekend, we have Christmas Critters, which is our biggest event that we do, Saturday, December 13th from 4 to 6. And we have A to Z Petting Zoo comes out. They do a live nativity for 2 showings for that. We also have Adopt-A-Pets, which I believe they brought out like 8 pets last year, and they all got adopted. I'm pretty sure, maybe but one, but then somebody else came and adopted that one later. So we also have All Moms that comes out and does crafts with the kids. There's all sorts of different fun for that. And then we also have Storybook Night, which is December 20th. I'm going to guess on that one. Yes, I was right. 4 to 6 p.m. And that's where we read 4 books, 4 Christmas books, and the characters walk around stage and they act things out. We have a fun little snowball fight. I say snowball, marshmallow fight planned for the kids for an intermission because the books can get kind of long. But that's a really fun one, and it's right before Christmas time, so we know that everybody gets a little tired. But that is a really fun one to enjoy and watch. Usually it's kids acting out on stage from some local community theaters and stuff. And I think that's about it that we have. I can't think of anything else. So do you guys have any questions?
You know, I might remind everyone, especially our merchants and, well, all of our business people, that we have been using Placer AI for quite some, well, for the last 4 to 5 years. We've got that data on where these individuals are coming from.
Yeah.
And we've been encouraging the businesses to take that data and start doing some geofencing and doing some Facebook advertising. If you know that 300 people are coming from Woodward or Alva or wherever that happens to be, we have that data. And it's free of charge. I think Dr. Mack's team is the keeper of that information, so they can reach out to her. But you know,
Yeah.
data's only good if we actually use it.
Yes,
and put
yes.
it to use.
And like Natalie, with our opening night, to have it on a Saturday, hopefully businesses will still be open. And everything's done by 6:45, so they can still go out to eat. They can still go shop at some of the stores. So, and we encourage them to do that. And I think that's a big perk. But I think last year on a Sunday opening night, I think it was between 18 and 20,000. So the fact it's on a Saturday, I'm excited to see those numbers and how they go up a little bit. So.
I have a couple of questions, Nicole.
Sure.
Handicap parking down by somewhere close to the tree, where would that be located?
We don't really block any areas off. We did in the past, but no one utilized it. So we just kind of have open parking for everybody. The spaces right above the food truck, just north of the food truck, those don't fill up very quickly at all. And you know, we can consider blocking some off. Can I ask Natalie, do you guys block anything off for handicap?
We don't. It's not a very easy thing to do with the logistics and just the way downtown is laid out. So we've looked into different options, but we've not found something that's stuck yet. You know, with events in Oklahoma City, and you go to, unfortunately, I've never seen anything with, you know, super accessible parking, but we would obviously be very receptive to figuring that out.
As a person that was bringing handicapped people to the event couple of years ago, we didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that, because I think there's a lot of people that come down there in wheelchairs with walkers and things like that. It seems like it would be easy to do, and I just don't
Yeah.
know why we wouldn't.
And I think
But we
because
gotta
we
advertise
actually
it.
had, for where the food trucks were, we had that as handicap parking. And we did have some people reach out to us, and so we let them know where it was. And that parking lot was really empty, and so we figured if we moved the food trucks closer to where everybody was, that would be better. And I don't think we did handicap parking last year. I don't even know that we got any calls last year about that.
I think a
but-
solution would be just north of that parking lot, north of Under Her Wing. I believe there's a lot of handicap spots lining right there. And if not, we could designate
Yeah, I
them
think
that.
that's the route.
Yeah,
for
we,
that
we have a
Okay.
lot of that blocked off for opening
Okay.
night. Unless it was right where it says potties there, where the porta potties are. I think that
What are the yellow things?
those are table setups.
Okay.
So the merchandise table, House FM, and Santa's,
In the
Santa's
parking
house.
lot north of the food trucks, there's also handicap parking. It's just a little farther away.
Right.
It's on the front row.
Right.
And there is a VIP and handicap seating there, so if it could be somewhere close to that even.
Well, that's all blocked off.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to, for the safety of everybody walking through there and as many as people that are standing there watching the event, we block that off.
Okay. Well,
So,
anyway, something to
but we
consider.
we can definitely visit that in some way, so.
And then the other thing I wanted to remind people is.
Sure.
Bring your chairs, bring your camping chairs, and
We put that on a lot of posts. And some people just, some people know to bring their chairs. They like to sit on that hill that is just north of where they're building the Jiffy Trip, because that's a really good spot. That's where our family sometimes sits. Or right in front of the Board of Education building there.
Yeah, we cleared a building out to help this year.
Thank you.
So, you're
Thank you
welcome.
for that. We appreciate that. So, but yeah, yeah, did you have any questions?
That's
Any
all
other
I had.
questions? Okay, perfect.
Anybody else?
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
That's a
definitely.
great event. So I encourage everyone to show up for that. It's spectacular. Okay. So now I'm going to back up and go back to 3.1, discussion of fraud issues involving cryptocurrency kiosks. And, okay, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Detective Jones with the Enid Police Department. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about an issue that we've been seeing over the last couple years. It's become really prevalent this year, and that is cryptocurrency kiosks, or commonly known as Bitcoin ATMs. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Bitcoin is a decentralized, unregulated digital currency, which means nobody controls Bitcoin. There's nobody that passes laws that, regulates the cost or anything like that. It's primarily used for investment, but as we'll discuss, it's also used as a vessel for fraud, and we see a lot of drug trade conducted in cryptocurrency as well. And it can be traded for the purchase or sale of goods. It operates a lot like a currency. In a way, it is a currency. Currently, the federal government has not agreed on whether it's a commodity or a security. So it's difficult to regulate it in that aspect. So how do you get Bitcoin? One, you can do mining. I'm not very good with computers, so I can't explain that process to you, but it's very involved. You can go person to person, which is I give it to you, you give it to me, we trade for something. And then there's cryptocurrency exchanges, which are these big companies. They have their own, they're called wallets, and you can deposit your Bitcoin into this wallet. They'll find somebody that wants to buy your cryptocurrency, and then they'll eventually give you the cash once it's sold. And you can see the pictures. Bitcoin Depot and Liberty X are two of the bigger currency exchanges, and then that top picture is an example of a very small mining kit that somebody just starting out might use. All right, so these cryptocurrency kiosks or Bitcoin ATMs, they do have some regulations that go with them. They do require you to verify your identity. They require you to designate a wallet that you're going to deposit your purchased Bitcoin into. And then once you do that, you have to insert cash in order to purchase. These kiosks often come with exorbitant fees, around 25%. So if you bought $100 worth of Bitcoin, you're going to get about $75 worth of Bitcoin. And then the rest is going to be split between the software operator and the hardware operator. And then these are located primarily in convenience stores, though there's a few other places in town that have them set up. And then in Enid, as of right now, according to Google, there's as many as 30 of these machines within our jurisdiction. So with Bitcoin fraud, it works the same way that most phone call frauds work. At some point, these scammers will access their victims' data through data leaks or hacks or something of that nature. They'll contact their victim. They create a sense of urgency. A lot of the stories that they use are outlandish, but if you give these people 5 minutes of your time, you will eventually, if you don't know what they're talking about, you will eventually end up giving them money. That's exactly how they operate. And then the way that specifically Bitcoin fraud operates with the kiosks is a lot of times what I generally see is they're somebody from the bank or a federal agency, but most of the time it's the bank. They'll say your account's been compromised. We've got to move your account, the money in your account into Bitcoin. There's this Bitcoin location not far from your house. Go to the bank, withdraw a large sum of money, and then go to this Bitcoin and put all your money into Bitcoin. Problem is you have to have a wallet. The scammers solve this problem by providing them their wallet. And so they lose that money almost instantly. So these scammers, more often than not, foreign nationals in their countries of origin. The issue with this is that a lot of times our suspects are victims themselves. A lot of people don't know that these scams originate from human trafficking in the way of labor trafficking. So the people that run these giant compounds, they'll entice people to come to this country and work for them, and as soon as they show up, they'll take their passport and their phone, and they'll say, well, you want your stuff back, don't you? There's a phone right here. Start making phone calls. And so it's difficult to point to the people that are calling and saying they're the bad guy, because they're victims themselves more often than not. And the issue that we run into is these scammers usually are operating within jurisdictions that we just have no ability to cooperate with. Even if the authorities in India or in the Philippines wanted to help us out, I have no way of communicating with them. And more often than not, they don't care. And so once the money goes into that wallet, generally it's gone forever, and there's not a way for us to get that money back. So these frauds are a little bit more prevalent than you might think. In Enid alone this year, we've seen 16 cases involving these kiosks. 12 of these victims were over the age of 70, and altogether these frauds have cost us about $261,637 as a community. And that's money taken from retirements or equity or just savings that these people have accumulated over their entire lives. In one case, it was $70,000. And so this is money that, your parents, your grandparents have worked for their entire lives, and it's just gone. And they're frustrated and confused that we can't get this money back for them. They didn't do anything wrong. They thought they were doing the right thing. They simply got scammed. And these Bitcoin kiosks are a huge way that they are conducting these frauds. So we do have some state legislation that has passed right now that one of these is Title 75A, all of the sections currently affirm an Oklahoma citizen's right to own, mine, sell, purchase cryptocurrency. All right. So any ban that would be in place could not inhibit a citizen's right to possess or sell cryptocurrency. I don't think that my ban proposal touches that. Namely being that it's not even the most frequent, it's not even really a common way of purchasing Bitcoin. It seems primarily used for scams or moving money that you don't want seen moving. And then we've also got just passed in Title VI, but it was Senate Bill 1083. It was originally vetoed by Governor Stitt, but it went back and that veto was overridden. It does place some regulations on these Bitcoin kiosks. Unfortunately, I don't think it addresses the issue that we're seeing in courts now, where essentially 1083 places a heavier burden on the kiosk operator and says that they have some culpability and some liability in these frauds by simply existing. The courts are not recognizing that. The courts are recognizing that the victims are not owed any restitution from the kiosk operators. And it gets confusing because there's a lot of computer nonsense involved in it, but the easiest way that I can explain it to you is through something silly like Beanie Babies. So if somebody tricked you into going to Walmart and buying $100,000 worth of Beanie Babies, and you went through with the purchase and you said, oh no, I don't have a bag for this. And they said, well, here, use my bag. And you put all of your Beanie Babies into this bag, and then that scammer leaves the store and you turn to the cashier and you say, I want my money back. I was just scammed. Well, the cashier is going to say to you, you didn't lose money, you lost Beanie Babies. And that's what the courts are recognizing, that you didn't lose cash in this fraud, you lost Bitcoin. And so if you were owed restitution, it would be the Bitcoin that you lost to these scammers, not the cash that you inserted into the machine. And so Senate Bill 1083 does a good job of regulating these machines, but it misses the point of what courts are recognizing, that the kiosk operators are not culpable in these scams and they don't owe the victims any restitution. It does provide a way for them to sue, the victims to sue the kiosk operators to at least get their fees back. But again, the courts are not recognizing that they're owed any fees back. So just because it provides an avenue for that doesn't mean the victim's actually going to get any money back. And currently in Oklahoma, we don't have any case law regulating this. These are case laws that I'll discuss here in just a second. But we do have laws in effect that regulate these machines. They impose daily limits. I think it's $2,000 as a daily limit. That's still $2,000 that grandma can go to the store and lose. I don't think it does a good way of protecting the most vulnerable part of our population, which are people who don't understand what this is, which more often than not, as we saw, are elderly victims who are just trying not to lose their money. Oh, I'm so sorry, it wasn't in there. So the case law does recognize that victims do exist in this. They're not willfully sending this money or this Bitcoin to these scammers. They are just recognizing that the purchase of the Bitcoin was a lawful and willful transaction, and that they were deceived, they were defrauded out of Bitcoin, essentially, if that makes any sense. So with that, I want to leave the table open for any questions. My intended purpose for this is an outright ban on these machines, at least until we can get the case law settled. And in a few years, if we feel like the state has done a good job in addressing some of these concerns, we could lift that ban with the wave of a pen if we felt like the industry, the Bitcoin industry and the kiosk industry specifically, was in a place where it protected victims. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I want to make sure I understand this. So
Sure.
House Bill 3594 affirms the right of individuals to purchase, own, sell, mine, and trade.
That's correct.
So we are skirting that with banning these machines, because people can still sell, trade, mine, whatever,
Correct.
online.
This does not in any way affect a person's ability to access Bitcoin. As I pointed out earlier, this isn't even the most common way to access Bitcoin. Most people do this on a computer or through their phone.
Okay.
Okay.
But if we did enact some sort of ban, that if we had restricted these kiosks and they were out of business in Enid, if we backtracked to the numbers you shared, what was it, like $261,000?
That's correct.
Would that have basically kept those dollars from being fraudulently obtained if the
It's-
kiosks hadn't been here?
It is possible that they would have scammed them another way, but
been
no,
harder.
they are specifically targeting these people because they are close to kiosks.
Okay.
Detective, did you say early on how many machines there were in Enid?
Approximately 30, sir.
Jesus.
How many?
Approximately 30.
30.
And a couple of years ago, I'll actually address that. A couple of years ago, there were like 3 in town. And then this year, we've seen the $261,000 in fraud. You know, if we average that out at a 20% fee, that's still $43,000 in fees that these companies have made off of these scams, which is, you know, not negligible in the proliferation of these machines. They've earned $40,000 off of us as a community being scammed, and now there are as many as 30 machines in this town. I don't think that that is coincidental at all.
Is there any way to stop it at the root as far as like when the victims go to the bank and withdraw large sums of money?
So
It's like a red flag. They get, or get like a,
in theory, yes, but these victims are going to the bank and withdrawing these large sums, and the banks are letting them walk out with these large sums. When they've been questioned about that in the past, they've said, it's their money. We can't tell them not to. All we can do is advise them that they're being scammed. But again, these scammers are highly effective. They know exactly what to tell the victims before they even get to the bank. They're reading off of a script that works almost every time.
Can we hold the companies accountable that are making money off the interest of the transactions that are being made?
So currently, there's no case law that says that we can't, but these companies will eventually challenge that. And I do, it's my belief that the case law is going to fall in their favor because courts are already recognizing that they don't have any culpability in this.
So this may be more of a question for Melissa than you, but are there other municipalities recently that have enacted bans like what we're talking about?
Not here in Oklahoma, but Stillwater, Michigan, and Spokane, Washington have enacted bans recently.
Okay, okay.
So where are these kiosks located? I mean, like, you don't have to give me details, but is
Sure.
there any sort of barrier that we would have to doing that like we're dealing with national corporations that are going to do what they want anyway? Or I don't know how else to ask that.
They operate much in the same way that an actual ATM would, other than the fact that it's the exact opposite. You put money into it and lose money. So they operate in the same way. They pay rent for a space, normally to convenience stores. But anybody that can host an ATM can host one of these machines.
Okay.
Couple questions. The stats that you gave us, $261,396, that's in Enid. Do we have any stats for the entire state, what that amounts to?
As far as, I'm sorry,
It's in the packet.
Yeah, so as far as like cryptocurrency fraud in general, yes. IC3, which is the Internet Crimes Complaint Center, which is a wing of the FBI, they put out stats every single year. I've got some of those included in the back of the packet.
And then my second follow-up question, those 2 statutes right there, because when y'all first brought this to me and we started talking about it, first thing I thought was, well, we'll make the property owner liable, right? Whoever set the machine, or whoever allowed the machine to go in there. But then when you read that second law right there, and the way you explained it, like is that just in the state? Yeah.
That was in '24.
$37 million statewide plus, almost $38 million. So that second law right there seems like that would make it so that we couldn't actually put that responsibility on the convenience store operator.
Correct.
But does the 3 locations that you mentioned, Stillwater, and I know that's not Stillwater, Oklahoma, but Spokane and the other ones that you were talking about, are they dealing with that same law right there? Or
No, not to my knowledge, but again, I've not seen the state not again, but I've not seen the state statutes that regulate their.
So in
Their
Oklahoma,
cryptocurrency
we
kiosks.
managed to drop yet again
Yeah,
on our ability to come up with good laws at the state level.
I would argue that this is not an effective law, yes.
Yeah. So, and this would probably be a question for Melissa, do we have that power to ban?
That's kind of my question.
Still in the process of researching, so it's new, it's evolving. So there is some case law, but very little. There's a case from Iowa, the Supreme Court of Iowa, and they have a little bit of a different situation. I know they didn't hold the kiosk operator liable for paying the money back because they said that they were innocent in the situation. They didn't really have a notice that there was someone being defrauded. So that I've researched that. I'm not at a point where I can give you an official opinion. I am not at the place where I'm convinced whether or not I think our new regulations are going to be effective or not. It's very new as well. I did reach out and talk to the Banking Association. That's the agency now that will regulate this. There are a lot of restrictions, and I was told that they've compared, when they were passing their legislation, they compared this to other states that do have statutes regulating in their states the kiosk operators, and ours is very restrictive in some ways. So there's a notice requirement to the AG's office within 14 days if someone says that they've been defrauded in this manner. Our statute does require, and the legalities of that, will play out in the courts as well, but will require the operator to make a refund. The case in Iowa didn't have statutes like that, so there was no requirement of that refund. It wasn't in their legislation at the time. So there are a lot of little nuances that I'm looking through. Initially, I don't think that the statute in Title 75 limits us, and just like Detective Jones said, there are other methods for people to use this new currency. I guess it's not maybe brand new, but anyone who has internet access can obtain these things. So the goal of limiting fraud is definitely a good goal. I'm going to work on this a lot more and reach out. I do have a really good contact now at the Banking Association. They're wanting to know more about what's going on here. There will be potentially follow-up cleanup legislation in the next couple of years while they're rolling out their rules. I attempted to get a list of operators before this meeting that are now licensed through the state requirements. They have to be licensed. They actually have to obtain a $500,000 bond. These cryptocurrency kiosk operators, they have to have an actual plan to help with prevention of fraud in these circumstances. There are a lot of requirements. So I guess the hope is initially, once they're rolling out these licensing requirements, the companies that can't meet those requirements will leave. If they don't, then I now have a good contact with law enforcement and with the banking department that we can make those reports and report them and work on removing them through this new process, with or without any kind of a ban through the city. So long answer just to say that I'm still right in the middle of looking through all of it. We're in the middle of something brand new. It hasn't happened in Oklahoma. We'll be on the edge of something new that others will be looking at in the future.
Okay. Okay. I'd like it if you keep us informed on that, so that at some point, if we can make a move or a change that would benefit some of our, I'm not going to say just elderly. I know a lot of younger people that get scammed also. So it's also my understanding that most of these, or a good portion of these machines, are in dispensaries. Is that right?
There are some, yes.
Yeah. So they can move cash and it won't be reported.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We can, I don't know if we could do some public service announcements too, through our communications department. If you guys would get with Derek Silas, that'd probably be good. I realize not everybody's going to see that, not everybody's, it won't help them, but it might help some.
I'm open to that.
Reassure them, we'll educate them about this situation, and if they're in that situation, suggest that they take a day or two to think about it, call the police department if they have questions, that kind of thing. That could help somebody.
Yes, sir.
Will we be able to put like a sign or something near or on the kiosk itself?
So they actually have pop-ups on these machines. This is a testament to the effectiveness of the scammers. They have several pop-ups on these machines that warn you that you are being scammed.
There, I'll add in there, they do have current warnings. The new requirements are, it's like pages of more and more warnings. It's like when you go to the store and you buy a gift card, if ever anybody has done that, I've gotten a lot of gift cards for different gifts and things, and if you buy a certain number of them, then you have to sign on the little screen that you're not being defrauded, and you have to kind of click on it and everything. It's kind of like that, where we just sign something, I'm like, I just want to check out and get out of here, I'm not being defrauded. So we just ignore that. But yes, people who are being pressured, they're not going to pay attention to that, because the people are telling them, hey, you have to do this, and so they're being convinced. But if you'll give me a moment, I wanted to tell you also about my experience in the DA's office. There is the DA's office actually leads a multidisciplinary task force, an elder abuse task force. And I know that there are representatives from the Enid Police Department, other local law enforcement, the YWCA, and others. And they do a lot of community information campaigns surrounding these types of fraudulent activities. So I would say we need to partner with them and make sure that they know. Some of the partners and members of that group are from banks. And so they're a big part of that. They do work with some of the questions about, whoever asked the question about what's happening at the bank whenever someone's pulling out this type of cash, there are a lot of banks that are highly involved in preventing things at that stage. So if we partner with them, we talk to them, get them to help us with that. RSVP here in Enid helps with a lot of those things too. And so that's a good way for us to use a resource and a group that's already put together.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Well, thank y'all so much for bringing this to our attention. I hope our newspaper will pick this up also and go, and any way that we can continue to get that word out there. If we get changes that we can do things at this level, I can't speak for the other commissioners, but I think we would probably all see that the same way, that we want to safeguard anything that we can do.
Yes, sir.
Any of our citizens from getting scammed. So thank you very much, and I'm sure I hope this isn't the end of this conversation at least. Okay, thanks guys. Item 3.2, discuss proposed changes to the ordinance concerning financial disclosure requirements for elected officials. This is about you, Frank.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I have an alibi.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, or good evening. We have a proposed ordinance for your, we'll bring back at a later regular agenda item, but this is, we're bringing it to you because there's been some change in state law with the new legislation that the state has now preempted the area of financial disclosure statements from the municipal level to the state level. So this change means that your financial disclosure statements that you've been doing, or you do annually, are going to be done with the Ethics Commission at the state level. So that's the essential change. So this ordinance essentially repeals that entire section of our code, since the state has preempted our regulation of that area. A lot of the regulations and rules that you're required to follow are going to be similar, because we had modeled our ordinance on state requirements. So a lot of that's going to be similar. The state is rolling out a portal. It's open. It's available for beta testing at the moment. It is available for doing your reporting requirements. But the good news is that if you've already done your reporting requirement this year, there seems to be no need to redo your requirement at the state level for the commission, the Ethics Commission. So going forward, your annual requirement, your annual financial statement disclosure requirement is going to be done. You're going to be required to do that at the state level between January 1st and May 15th of each year. You'll have to make that report.
Does that also include quarterly reports on campaign funds?
So if you have campaign committees open, yes, they've preempted that from the municipal level as well. There's additional reporting requirements, and those will be done with the state as well. And those, if there are some quarterly requirements if you have them open, but that's the online portal is intended to be able to do all of your required reporting. What I've spoken to is specifically basically your financial disclosure statements. But yes, you are correct in that they've now preempted that as well at the state level for the Ethics Commission.
And what were those dates again that we have to do that, go to the portal?
So annually, beginning January 1st through May 15th is the deadline to get those done annually. Any new members coming on the commission would have 30 days from the day they're sworn in for a full or partial term to get that first initial disclosure statement done. But after that, you would do them manually, and they would be due beginning. The first date you could submit is January 1st, and your deadline to get that submitted would be May 15th.
So even those documents that we signed last year, come January, we're going to do a new one on the portal.
Come January, between January and May 15th, you would need to do a new one on the portal, yes. And it is open, it's available for beta testing. The commission has indicated that they would be available to do some training on using the new system. They've intended it to be user-friendly and intuitive. I don't know how user-friendly and intuitive it is once you get into it, but they would be available for some training on getting those reporting requirements done at the Ethics Commission.
That would be helpful.
All right. Questions?
Well, not that I'm not a responsible human being, but will there be somebody here at City Hall who kind of bird dog us on
Well,
this?
I think Mandy is going to be appointed the financial disclosure czar at the city. So
Thank you, thank you.
she will
Between
learn.
Summer and Melissa and I,
All in favor?
we'll stay on you to make sure you get your reporting done.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Mandy. 3.3, update on the landfill methane plant for Scissortail Renewables.
I think this is so cool.
Norm, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. Give me 1 second, I have a prop for you.
Okay.
I love props.
You may need to go down and accept this from him. It's a good one.
Oh, I like this.
Oh,
I like this a lot.
yeah. Can we put this in a kiosk?
Bitcoin you could get, staggering.
No, well, Mayor, council members, good to see you again, Gerald and staff. First of all, thank you for supporting us from start to finish on this project. I know I've been in front of you multiple times, and really what we've been doing is making an investment in infrastructure, making an investment in the community, making technical investments with your staff on our project. And so what we're doing today is I copied 4 things. 1, talk about cost of service study for just a minute. It's a pretty impactful thing your staff has done, and I'm going to read from the actual cost of service study itself and what that means. Then you'll hear from John on a technical update on what's happening on the ground. I'll talk about some of the back office work we're doing with your staff on royalties and just everything related to back office administration. Then we'll talk about the future design work. There's still activity happening at your landfill where it's a living, breathing creature where you have to add wells as you add trash. And so we'll talk about that. And then finally, just setting a date for a potential ribbon cutting here in March where we can get our parkas on and go outside and cut a ribbon. And so again, what I'd start with though is what you see there in front of you, the city of Enid on December 18th issued a solid waste cost of service study. And in that study, in the introductory point, it says, this study will look at different scenarios for Enid to continue its evolution as a regional leader in solid waste management and environmental stewardship. What that means to us at Scissortail is really looking at your landfill as a regional hub for potential waste, solid waste, municipal solid waste, and assisting your neighbors and others in the community that maybe are not receiving that quality service that your City of Enid residents receive. With more trash, there's a cost, there's a benefit, and this report is going to address that. And so it was important for Scissortail to support that effort and help not be 100% city dollars that are going to fund this report, but have some of our investment into this report, with an outcome being that your neighbors, not only in Enid, but also in surrounding areas, may benefit from this landfill that you have, all the additional land area that you have, and all those trucks that maybe are not being fully utilized that can be utilized to a greater degree. And so that's really what this is about. And so I know it's been a long time coming because this RFP was issued in December of last year, and now we're here to say, as a partner, we want to support you. And so From that, I will ask John to talk a little bit about the site. If you went out there today, you'd see a site that's doing two main things. We are tuning and we're doing plant commissioning work. And those are the key things that are happening once the plant has achieved its commercial operations. Now we do the hard work of ensuring we meet our ONEOK specification, and we continue moving that gas through the system into the interconnect. And so I'll ask John to talk a little bit about what he saw and what we're doing there, and then I'll go through the rest of my remarks. Thank you, Commissioners.
Good evening. Everyone doing well? Norman already stole all my thunder with this big cardboard check, so there you go. John Bolte, Small Arrow Engineering, here for hopefully a kind of a final update, at least from our end of it, from a construction and completion standpoint. As you can see, we're very, very close to having a functioning facility and something to start generating revenue for everyone. It looks like one of the things that I observed is we wanted to maintain good access for your operations. I know one of the monitoring wells is trapped inside the space there, so they have access established so they can take care of the monitoring well access there inside the plant facility. And then also with the new entrance coming off of Southgate, it gives you handy access for that monitoring well as well for the folks to take care of things. We're kind of tidying things up here the last couple of weeks, getting composite fence in order, gates in order, some of the trash fence relocated and getting it established so that everything's kind of buttoned up to where things have been cleaned up, and the extra materials and things that were kind of in the laydown area have been cleaned up and gathered up and removed, and we've kind of got back into our official space, that was leased to us to begin with. So things look like they belong where they're supposed to be. As Norman mentioned, they're in commissioning mode right now, so BioFirm is working with NextEra, basically getting equipment functioning the way it's supposed to be, getting things tuned. The plant is running. It's basically sending raw gas to the flare right now while they finish up that process to get the gas then to get to the spec that it needs to be from a pipeline quality biomethane standpoint, and then that's when it starts to push on into the ONEOK system. One of the items that's something we do need to complete here in the near term is probably some training with the folks at the fire department, so we're aware of how we're going to handle access for emergencies and notifications. The site has got security gates that'll be closed off from the west and then also off of 16th. So again, we got to set that up so they have a call and they can respond. They know how to get in and what to do once they arrive and how things are functioning. So that's definitely something that's important. We did install an alarm system, so if something's pulled out there, you guys get the remote notification, and we want you to be fully up to speed on what to do when you arrive, because it's a little unique. It's kind of a unique animal.
I'm sure.
Yes. So, but yeah, I was real happy with what I saw. I know we had some drainage erosion issues to take care of. It looks like they've got that all taken care of, put some extra gravel down in the yard. The area where we transitioned from our plant lot fence down to the ONEOK lot needed some cleaning up and tidying up. So curb appeal looks pretty good. So for being at the landfill, I think we're doing okay. And so that was one of the objectives is that we have a nice, appealing looking facility. So that's kind of where we're at. I think hopefully, I don't know if you have a time frame on the commissioning period. It's when they get it fixed is the answer. I'd like to say that's a 60-day process, hopefully, but that's somewhere in that time frame. We're definitely a lot closer than we were a little while ago, and getting all the bugs worked out. So I don't know if there's any specific site-related questions that you might have, but we feel pretty good about how everything's kind of come into focus.
Did what you just said, was this going to be 60 days before you're going to sell any gas?
I think that's the goal. So it's basically we have to have a period of time where we can show okay, we've pulled successful samples, and we have to pull those samples, in succession, and then they basically show them, hey, we've got the correct BTU levels, the nitrogen levels are down, the CO2 levels are down, and everything's good to go. So that's the
It's got to
process that they're in right now.
pipeline quality.
Yes.
Okay, so, and that's going to happen in 60 days?
That's the goal. So like I said, that's why we had some equipment issues here that we had to switch out some valves, and it's just, typical things with parts and components, various delays that you run into. And all that's being fleshed out. So that's what we're trying to get to next. So, and
I will say that we're getting ready to invoice Scissortail for minimum amounts of $1,000 a month until we get the production going per the contract. So we are actually at the point we'll start receiving a little bit of revenue from them.
That's correct. The meter's running, so to speak, because those minimums, we've triggered that point, and so obviously we're trying to get off the mat and get beyond that as quickly as possible. So, all right. I'll let you get back to your...
Any further questions for John?
Your fun.
None from me.
Very
Thanks,
good.
John.
No, appreciate
you.
it. Thank you, folks.
Yeah, no, to what Gerald said, on the back office side, we've had a meeting with the manager, with Spark and Nextera, just to set up the format where you'll have a settlement statement that'll read everything from the utility, from the marketer, and it'll be the simple formula that we've always talked about. Volume multiplied by natural gas price multiplied by the agreed upon royalty. And that'll be documented for you in your statement from us, and you should start receiving that. At that point, it'll be a good scorecard. We'll all see how our volumes compared month to month, how our volumes look like when it's the neighbors that have ag waste, or the neighbors that have banana peels, or the drywall neighbors. Whatever that's coming into the landfill, we'll be able to track that in real time every month through the statement process that we have set up. And so that's really the back office element to the update. I think our team that's on the ground now, the operators of the plant, have recurring weekly meetings with your landfill staff. And so there's that additional communication, although you may not see us, me, John, or myself. The team that's there, that's Enid employees that are from Enid, are talking to your team there on the ground. And that's something that we will continue for as long as we're present there. We are working with Morales' team on looking at what I said, the new expansion of your next cell, to ensure that we can capture that gas, or something pretty interesting from a design standpoint. Rather than drilling vertical wells, could we drill horizontal wells to capture that waste? Is there sufficient waste mass in place? And so there's some pretty interesting design elements that we can implement here. But as that cell gets permitted and constructed, we want to have our gas collection system already present there, as opposed to the mountain's already there, and then you're just collecting from a vertical standpoint. The last thing I'd say is, that monthly site performance meeting. Gerald and the manager office wants to have monthly recurring updates. We're prepared to have those when we just talk about our performance of how the plant is doing. And so, City Commission, I would just end with just, again, a heartfelt thank you. You've been with us for a long time. If you went out there today, you'd see a site that we're proud of, that we're excited to be members in the community. Talking to Dr. Mack earlier, we're going to have activities for others outside of Enid come see the facility, and really become a showcase of how we can really take that banana peel, have it sit there, decay, decompose, turn into gas, and that earns you a royalty that also ensures your compliance and ensures a project that's pretty unique across Oklahoma. And so hopefully in March we can get together again for Big Scissor event and work with your staff to have a celebration there to really christen the plant and call it official. So, Gerald, I don't know if there's anything else you have.
I just want to remind everybody again, it's, this project started several years ago, as we know, but this project is the only one that I can point to that has solved a regulatory problem for the city. Kudos to engineering for dealing with the problem and getting connected and finding these folks, but it solved the engineering problem, no cost to the city, and I'm sure that's a multi-$100,000 or $1 million facility out there, and we get a revenue stream. And we're actually starting to get the minimum levels. We're going to get that up. And then also, we were recycling right into the landfill. So we do appreciate your contribution helping on the study, because if there's other ways we can generate revenue by expanding our area, especially with organic waste, we know how to recycle it now right there in the landfill, and then you pick it up, make money. So I just want to remind the commission and the public, I don't know that we'll ever have a project that we have to do. We get somebody else to do it. We didn't have to pay for it, and then we get paid over time. And we have our newest recycling program, so thank you for that.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Norm. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Okay. Item 3.5, update on the Cleveland and Garriott water leak. Jason?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. We just wanted to get in front of you today and just give y'all and the community a little bit of an update on a water line repair that we're going to be doing at Cleveland Street and O&K Garriott. Broad overview of the project, just to kind of help y'all get oriented with the project. This is the northwest corner of Garriott and Cleveland. That would be across the street from the Starbucks and catty corner to the district. And those businesses have changed there. I can't remember which ones they are, but that group of businesses there on the northwest corner. The current situation that we're in is there's a slow water leak that's located in this corner. It's been one that we are aware of it, and we've been doing some things to try to address it, and those things have not worked out for us. We've shut a few valves, turned a few valves, and checked a few things out, trying to see if we could potentially either slow it down or get it to stop, and none of those efforts have been successful. So beginning Wednesday evening about 5 o'clock, we are going to start doing some traffic control setup. A contractor is going to be doing some traffic control setup in preparation for exposing this area that I've got highlighted here on this map to where we can locate the water leak and make the repair and return the concrete to normal. Right now, this is what the current setup, the areas of Garriott and Cleveland that will be closed, southbound, all southbound on the south side of Oklahoma will be closed. There will not be, we'll have it open for through traffic for the businesses that are located there, but there'll be no traffic beyond there. In that area there. So there's a few businesses that are located in that area that we'll be able to access from the north to get into these businesses here.
So there'll be no southbound traffic to the intersection when that's closed off?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. And then obviously, and then the northwestbound lane of Garriott will also be closed, and there will be some restrictions there at the corner there to turn north off of Garriott, but that should still be open there as well to be able to turn there. Currently, so here's the traffic plan that the contractor provided. They are going to detour traffic, the southbound traffic on Cleveland. They're going to detour it to the west across Oklahoma over to Hoover Street and then back down. That avoids kind of going through some neighborhoods and gets that traffic over to the next stoplight there at Hoover. So the work that's going to be taking place is going to, as I mentioned before, is going to begin on Wednesday at about 5 o'clock. That's when traffic will set up. The intent of the contractors and us is that basically Wednesday night, that's when they'll get the concrete out of there, get the water line exposed, find the leak, fix the leak, and then by Thursday morning have gravel down. Now, unfortunately, we've got a 50% chance of rain all day Thursday, so it might get rained on. If it gets rained on, I can't put concrete back there until it stops raining. So our intent is, or our window kind of to get that done is Thursday and Friday. If we can get it poured back on Thursday, we'll have it back open Friday. If it's poured back on Friday, we'll have it back open Saturday morning. So we using some 24-hour cure time concrete, something so that we can get it back open as possible. I've notified ODOT, and one other thing I wanted to mention as well, there will be a water outage sometime. I can't really pinpoint when it's going to exactly be until they find it. So, but our hope is that will just be Wednesday night. It will be late Wednesday night. And the area that will be affected is very small. Looking at the map, the furthest south it goes is that first store there. I believe that's AT&T, if I remember correctly. And then it goes north. There's another valve to the north, right at the railroad tracks. And then basically east and west, the potential businesses affected is that strip mall there, just on the west side of Cleveland here. And then, which that's a maybe, because a lot of their water is actually off of Cleveland, but also the next valve, I believe, is somewhere in this area for this area. These are fed from up here as well. So basically Starbucks is the only potential business that might be out of water during the evening. So, and I say evening, it's going to be late when we're asleep, Mayor.
Jason, do we have, I'm sorry, an estimate of what we think this is going to cost?
Yes, we do. I put together a project, and I can't believe I cannot remember what did it quote come in at? $64,000. Thank you, Morale.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was actually the way we quoted it, because of oops, wrong way. It's either a leak might be on the 12-inch, the leak might be on the 8-inch, the leak might actually be on the 6-inch that goes to the fire line. So I actually quoted it a little big with a little more line items in there, so that once we find the problem, we'll be able to take those off of the quote, and we won't be charged for them. So.
Well, they don't fix themselves, so. Okay.
We've already sent out a press release, right? Do the businesses know that the water might be shut off tomorrow?
Yes, sir. The press release went out today around 2:30. I am going to ask staff inspector to go out to those businesses that are potentially impacted, to let them just knock on the door and let them know. As I mentioned, the shut-off, it should just be, it'll be late Wednesday night.
That'd be good to let them know in the morning so they could plan.
Well, I'm hoping that it's either shut off and then back on by the time they arrive.
That'd be ideal.
That's
Rarely does it work out ideally, though,
right,
so.
but we hope we have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. That's our intention.
I haven't been through that intersection today, but I think we have our own digital signage out there, because that's probably the best tool we have.
Yes, sir.
To communicate with the public.
Yes.
So I
Public
think
Works Department, Mike Williams got those out for me yesterday, so to give some advance notice.
People should be, that's the best tool we have to make people aware.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, can you go back to the traffic map, please?
Oop, going the wrong way.
The one before. There you go. So, did you say that's going to be blocked off at the business, or is that going to be blocked off further north?
On Cleveland?
Yeah, my concern is if they're able to come down there and go down Oklahoma, we're going to have a traffic problem on Oklahoma that I'll need to address with our traffic division. So if I could have an idea, or if you can get in touch with me tomorrow.
It's going to be no traffic beyond Oklahoma except for local. So they'll be turning on Oklahoma.
That's my concern, going down Oklahoma back to Hoover?
Either, yeah, Hoover, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Does it show it on your flow map?
Yeah.
Can you send that to Ian?
Yes, sir, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're going to send them right on right on Oklahoma to Hoover, but they could also go left down to Johnson?
They could, yes. It's a little more safer to make that right turn versus crossing traffic across
Okay.
Cleveland. It's a safer detour.
Could there possibly be a sign at the light north
The Randolph finish?
at Randolph?
I can get one, yeah.
Okay.
Road closed ahead or something there. Yeah, we can do that.
Any other questions, concerns, comments? Nope. Jason, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for getting that taken care of. With that being said, we are adjourned until 6:30. 6:30.